you so much for joining us on another episode of Careers at JLL with Trish Gordon. I'm here with my guest, Blake Layda, who is the Managing Director of Solutions Development at JLL. Blake, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me, Trish.
So tell us a little bit more about solutions development. What is that?
Sure. So solutions development, in my perspective, is one of the only roles within the firm where we have the capacity to sell all services that we can provide as a firm. And as a principal within that group, I have the ability to sell all those services at a global level. And my job is to coordinate very large teams to build those solutions and implement them.
So tell me a little bit more about your career and how you got to be a managing director at JLL.
For the group's background, I'm a degreed engineer, studied engineering in college, started working for one of our now clients at JLL, Procter and Gamble, and I used to build pilot plant space for them.
Wow.
And from building that space for them, I got into managing some of their R&D properties. So I was running their properties as an internal employee. And eventually, when the organization at Procter and Gamble decided they wanted to focus on their core business, and they realized that running their own facilities was not core business for them, they ran an effort to effectively outsource that large piece of their organization. And at that time, I joined JLL. JLL won the work with Procter and Gamble, and I transitioned over with about 500 other colleagues from Procter and Gamble.
So, man, that was a big move you made, which means you had a great big impression on Procter and Gamble. And then another impression on JLL for you to come over and bring all of your colleagues with you. And so tell us a little bit more about your background. I know that you're a big sports fanatic. So how does that impact the job you do every day at JLL?
Yeah, first and foremost, let me just briefly jump back as well. When I came to JLL, I really had the career background of running projects and also running facilities. But coming to JLL, I had a lot to learn around everything else that we perform around real estate. I didn't know anything about lease administration. I didn't know anything about brokerage and transaction work and activity, and was also pretty naive about global opportunities. One, that was all skill sets that I had to learn through different roles and opportunities that I had within the firm. But ultimately, in what I do today, I am very passionate about athletics and my life as a swimmer through college and university, being captain of a team. And what I perform and deliver today, it's really about operating on a team level, leading the correct direction. And I have to do that both with clients and internally to drive outcomes that are needed. So that tenacity that I have to drive to the end result really comes a lot, I believe, from my athletic background.
What other skills would you say that up and coming real estate stars should also possess to find the kind of success you have?
I would say first and foremost, from my perspective, is don't be afraid to take on opportunities that are hard and sometimes look dirty. From my perspective, back at the time when I joined the firm, I was obviously with the firm for over a year, but then an opportunity came up to go on an international assignment. And I didn't know where the international assignment was going to be, but I jumped at the opportunity. I was at a point in my career where I said this would be a ton of fun. I ended up in Geneva, Switzerland, and I was running properties across the European footprint for the firm at the time. And that was one catalyst. The second was coming back. I was going to relocate, and Chicago was an opportunity. Obviously, I said corporate headquarters, Chicago. I'm a Midwest boy. Midwest city sounded great. So A, jumped at that opportunity, and B, then I got to work with one of our senior principals at the time that was delivering these solutions, building these solutions. And I had to wear many hats. I had to build pricing models. I had to create organization charts. I had to build storylines. And that work that I did in the early years is what really allowed me to learn and then ultimately be able to lead teams to deliver that work in the future.
I love that you're talking about taking risks and just getting out there and trying it, not being
Yes.
afraid to try it, right? I'd also love to hear more about something that JLL does, which is invaluable to people who are starting out in their career, is once you're in the firm, you're able to move around and really get different opportunities across the world of real estate. And it seems like you also benefited from that experience as well.
Yeah, certainly did. When you think about it, at the point in my career, when I actually joined the firm, I looked at it as a tremendous opportunity. I mean, obviously, I was young in my career. I was moving over to an organization where, by joining JLL, I all of a sudden was a revenue generator. I was part of a company that was generating revenue, whereas when I was part of Procter and Gamble, I was a cost center to the business,
Mm.
right? Frankly, so that was energizing and exciting to me. Obviously, having to learn a tremendously large service mix was also, a great opportunity that I was looking forward to. I will say there were other people that were at different points in their careers, which they would have just loved to stay and keep working at Procter and Gamble. But a lot of those team members that came over, they went on to different management roles within JLL that they wouldn't have had. They
Awesome.
actually became leaders of other accounts and other businesses. And when I look back as a whole, I believe many people kind of flourished from that partnership. And that's what it was really about when we established it.
Okay, so now, Blake, what is the best part of your job?
Lots of people ask me that. And I love my job and my role because I'm out talking with different clients, different team members, creating and solving complex problems. It is completely different every day. And I know a lot of people say that, but in my world, it is very different. It is not like I focus on a single service like transactions or a single project. I literally have a dozen going on at a time, and it could be everything from a client like Intel or Cisco that are technology related to a big bank to heavy manufacturing, very different clients and very different view of what they need from a real estate perspective. And I get to work with them all.
Wow. So your breadth and spread of people you get to work with really enhances the experiences you're having at JLL and your career.
It does tremendously. And I will tell you that somebody that's been doing this for the time period that I have, getting to span those different industries has been tremendously beneficial. But I would also say you have to start somewhere and focus somewhere. So don't be afraid to be part of a industrial team, a life sciences team. Learn that skill set, that background with a particular organization or client set, and then take that somewhere else.
That is great advice for someone just starting out in the industry. Just start somewhere and start picking
Right.
up the skill as you go. There's also a benefit to being in the office and learning from other people, as we're finding as a result of the pandemic.
Yes.
We really can learn a lot from being in the presence of others who have more experience than ourselves. So I greatly appreciate the time sitting here with you, Blake, and learning from your experience. So I am going to ask you, what is the greatest impact you have made in your career from your work?
Well, obviously, I feel very passionate about the value we deliver for clients, and for all clients, it's different. That value oftentimes comes in savings opportunities. Sometimes it's in experience. Sometimes it's in a complete remake of the workplace to drive a particular outcome for a client. So, when we're able to deliver on our promises that I often get to make, that is very rewarding. I've had clients where even we've lost business who have come back to me over time and said, you know what we ended up putting in place really didn't work, and we should have listened. And that's very rewarding. The greatest impact that I feel personally is creation of jobs and roles for individuals. You will oftentimes find within a corporate American environment, much like P&G I was describing earlier, when you're a cost to the business, it becomes very difficult to staff the roles that are needed to deliver the work. And the delivery oftentimes becomes a lot of outsourced or out-tasked providers that are actually performing work, turning wrenches, mowing the lawn, whatever it is, we think about the particular activity. it often gets outtasked. And when we are able to remake that organization from our standpoint in a new delivery model, we're often able to bundle up that work and create full-time opportunities for individuals that just weren't there. And to me, that's always been tremendously rewarding, is finding the right place and the right positions for people to have a full-time opportunity versus an hourly job.
Fabulous. Blake, you have been a phenomenal guest. I am so happy that you took the time to talk to us. Do you have any parting words for us today?
No, I think in any parting words is definitely enjoy yourself every day. I think that's tremendously important, Trish, and there's no reason somebody should ever come to work and feel like it's a burden. So if it is, you're doing the wrong thing. Find something else to do. And it is a big organization where you can find other things to do. So don't be afraid to raise your hand, ask, take risk, and be happy at what you're doing, because there's lots to be done.